If you're anything like me, you often fantasize about breaking into the Warner Brothers backlot to release Yakko, Wacko, and Dot from their water tower prison to commit animated atrocities against the executives of Warner Brothers Studios, as they have done before and will do again. Of course, the idea of the Warner siblings avenging themselves and their animated brethren would be a dream come true. But alas, in their water tower prison they shall remain. After a second untimely end, I might add. And what remains to defend animation is, ultimately, us. Welcome to Meddling in Antiquity. I'm your friendly neighborhood head meddler, Teray, and today we're talking about generative AI's impact on the animation industry. So lock in, and let's get into it. I doubt I really need to give you a definition of generative AI, but in case you need one, here's a refresher. Generative AI is, more or less, what it says it is. A generation machine that can create an image or video based on a prompt using a specific set of data that it was trained on. Of all the industries at risk from corporate greed's obsession with generative AI, animation is probably at the top of the list. Animated shows and films have proved to be the first on the chopping block in terms of cost over the past few years. Warner Brothers Discovery has perhaps been the most guilty of this, with their gutting of Cartoon Network and writing off several popular shows and their own films for tax purposes. This includes writing off 2 completed Looney Tunes animated features, Coyote vs. Acme and Bye Bye Bunny. One would have been a courtroom dramedy where Wile E. Coyote sues the Acme Corporation for the spate of faulty products he's been sent over the years, as is his legal right, and the other would have been the first Looney Tunes musical, and would have been about Bugs leaving Hollywood to become a normal rabbit. Both of which genuinely sound baller as fuck. The backlash for Coyote vs. Acme has been intense, and in my opinion, completely warranted. A ballpark figure of about $35 to $40 million. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off co-writer and co-developer Ben David Graminsky, who was able to see the completed film, compared it to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is, to this day, one of the best films ever made in the history of film. In fact, the backlash was so bad that Congressman Joaquin Castro of Texas responded, calling the move, inaffectionately now known as the Zaslav method, named for Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, real-life Judge Doom, and my main op, David Zaslav, predatory and anti-competitive, going so far as to compare it to arson for insurance purposes. A mere 4 days later, Warner Brothers tried to walk it back big time and decided to put the film on the market for other services. Of course, nothing gold can stay, and on February 9th, 2024, The Wrap published an article revealing that Coyote vs. Acme's fate had been sealed the whole time. According to writer Drew Taylor, Warner Brothers refused to allow interested studios, including Netflix, Amazon, and Paramount, to counter the $75 to $80 million price tag for the film, stating it was a take-it-or-leave-it deal. He also revealed that Zaslav himself hadn't even seen the full film. This has left Coyote vs. Acme essentially dead in the water, making the last appearance of the Looney Tunes gang Space Jam Legacy. Space Jam Legacy. It's genuinely disappointing. In addition to this, cost-cutting measures like the Zaslav method have bled all over other studios too. Netflix's horror comedy musical show, and show that was dear to my heart, Dead End Paranormal Park, was cancelled in January of 2023 after only 2 seasons at a massive cliffhanger, with cutting costs for Netflix being one of the main reasons for the show's cancellation. This could potentially apply to Tuca and Birdie, which premiered on Netflix, was cancelled after 1 season, picked up by Adult Swim for 2 more seasons, and then cancelled again when Warner Brothers merged with Discovery. There's a pattern, guys. There's a pattern. Are we seeing it? I'm seeing it. The main reason that animation is so at risk is, of course, money. Because Brennan Lee Mulligan is 100% correct when he makes corporate greed and capitalism the bad guys in every single Intrepid Heroes campaign. Organized religion warrants another video, but I digress. It's a funny, not funny twist that it was animation that sustained the film industry during the worst of the pandemic. But with the generative text-to-image AI boom in 2022 It was really only a matter of time before text to animation came along to ruin everything. Now, studios like Corridor Digital are claiming to change the animation landscape forever after using genAI to essentially put a 90s anime-inspired filter over live-action footage. Roll clip.
I'm sorry you traveled all this way for nothing, brother. I control the city garrison. I'll have you exiled.
Let us not forget the power to settle this lays in the palm of our hands. Do you remember what Father taught us about holy combat?
You dare suggest—
What did Father say, brother?
Here, in this holy house, in front of our Father and the Creator themselves.
For the crown, the throne, and the lives of millions under its rule, I challenge you!
You fool! You know not what you do!
I challenge you to rock, paper, cross blades!
Now, on top of just looking kind of ugly, this and other examples of genAI animation also don't show as many successes for genAI animation as they do the limitations. Canadian studio Shy Kids used a program called Sora to create a short called Airhead, which serves to highlight the 5 main issues with genAI animation: unpredictability, scale mismatch, inconsistency, uncontrollability, and copyright. Copyright should be obvious, as genAI, as mentioned way before this, at the beginning of the video, is trained on large datasets, oftentimes scraped from the internet with no real regulation, resulting in a bunch of loose data and a lot of pending lawsuits. Unpredictability, uncontrollability, and inconsistency go hand in hand somewhat, as the fact that you can't predict genAI's output means that, even when putting in the same prompt over and over and over and over again, you'll get a different result every single time. I would show you an example of this, but I refuse to contribute to the environmental devastation that genAI use is also causing. With scale mismatch thrown into the mix, creating unusual, uncanny, and oftentimes incorrect movements, it shows that genAI animation has a lot of work to do before it could even come close to replacing anyone. That's not preventing the studios from trying, though. The studio's main goal is to make as much money as possible. And animation is expensive. It's time-consuming, and there's a lot that goes into making it good. That's the part that the people at the highest levels don't understand. It's not just the animation, the film itself, the show itself. It's the care that goes into the character design, the storyboarding, the modeling, texturing, compositing, line art, and about 1,000 other things. The very distinctly human touch that comes hand in hand with creating. All of which the studio execs want to replace with generative AI Slop. Now, I could explain what Slop is myself, or I could let Mr. Ruins Everything himself do it with some help from Gravity Falls creator Alex Hirsch and Jellyback Studios. Roll the tape.
Cartoons are the greatest. I can't wait to see what amazing cartoons come out in the future. What's happening?
Oh, this? This is the animation future that greedy execs want.
I don't understand.
It's AI, procedurally generated images made by machines that big studios want to use to replace artists.
Why is it like this?
Because it's nothing but regurgitated data lacking humanity, and greedy companies want to replace human workers with it, which means the artists that create the shows and characters you love will lose their rent money, healthcare, and livelihoods.
Long live the new Flash!
No!
That's right, you can help prevent animation from becoming an AI hellscape by talking about your favorite anime and cartoons with #HumanArt.
And by supporting the Animation Guild at the kickoff rally on August 10th. Details in the description below.
Animation is under attack. Which side are you on?
End me!
As Adam says in that video, this is the future studio execs want for animation. And it's some horrific Cronenberg-esque hellscape nightmare fuel. All to save a bunch of dudes who already have too much money, even more money. Fortunately for us, there are still a lot of people who aren't willing to risk quality for the sake of quantity. As of this video's making, the Animation Guild, also known as TAG, and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, who you may know better as the AMPTP, have reached a tentative agreement following TAG's contract's expiry. Ratification voting began on December 10th and continues until December 22nd of 2024. Knowing how hard TAG has been fighting against AI, I have complete faith that this contract will be a huge step in keeping animation safe from generative AI. In the meantime, I recommend taking the steps outlined by beloved ruiner of everything Adam Conover in the video, and keep informed on the steps TAG is taking to keep genAI out of animation. I would also make sure to check out the interactive media strike, which has been ongoing since July 26, 2024, and also deals with unregulated and non-transparent use of AI in the game industry. I'll have both TAG and Interactive Media's pages linked below, along with other sources cited in this video, so you can keep yourself informed and make sure that you stay updated on whatever strike action is happening to keep film, television, and media in general safe from generative AI and greedy studio executives. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was at least somewhat informative about how executives are trying to use generative AI to essentially push out all of the fun, cool things about animation in the film industry. I really do hope that you go to TAG's website, to the Interactive Media's website, and support those strikes that are going on if it comes to strike for TAG, and continue to support the AAA game strike that the Interactive Media has had, which has unfortunately largely gone under the radar, but that could be an entire other video essay. Now, these videos do take time to make. There's a lot of research and a lot of work that goes into scripting and editing, and it's all just me. So if you feel particularly generous this holiday season, or maybe have a little bit of extra money to spare, because I know that we are living in a capitalist hellscape, please subscribe to my Patreon. I have a free tier. If you feel so inclined, there are paid tiers as well, but those help me be able to make time to make these videos and to be able to pay for and update the software that I use to make them. But thank you so much for watching this Meddling in Antiquity presentation, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. And I mean that. I'm standing on business about that. I fucking love Who Framed Roger. Who the fuck doesn't love Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Genuinely. Who doesn't enjoy Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And if you're a Who Framed Roger Rabbit hater, we shall have words, because me and my VHS copy of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, we're coming for you. Meet me in the parking lot. I don't know what parking lot, but we're meeting in a parking lot somewhere. It's for anyone who doesn't like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, specifically. Probably shouldn't be watching this video, but whatever.